Bad actors can abuse the Googlebot crawling service to send malicious payloads.
So Andy, you bring us a story about a good service that is being used for bad purposes, right?
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. This one's a little bit weird. It has to do with the Googlebot service. Right. Googlebot is a web crawler that Google uses to index different websites so that they can show up on Google searches. A researching team from F5 actually observed some funny malicious requests over the wire that were coming from Googlebot. Right. And it brought to mind some immediate questions. The first one is Googlebot hijacked? What's going on here?
Right.
So they were actually able to tell based off of the source IP, which was allocated as a Googlebot IP address space, that it's coming from the legitimate Googlebot IP, right? So that ruled that out. So then the next sort of conclusion they came to was that it's a service that's being abused, which is pretty interesting. So what they were seeing were requests to normal domains with malicious payloads in the path that were coming from Googlebot, right? So when they actually looked into this, kind of what they found was that this is something that happens, which is kind of weird. So essentially, if an attacker finds a website that is vulnerable to, say, command injection, right? Mm-hmm. What they can do is they can craft a malicious link to a normal domain, a vulnerable domain, and then set up a website and embed that link within their page. And then wait for Googlebot to index it. And Googlebot's going to do what it's supposed to do, and that is index that particular link.
Right, so go fetch that URL.
Go fetch that URL,
right.
And in doing so, it's actually delivering that payload, which is pretty interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
So an interesting technique of kind of like farming out your exploitation to a legitimate service like Google, but they're doing it in a way, it's not Google's fault. It's just that they're kind of leveraging weird side effect behavior that most people don't think about.
And an example of how it was being used is actually to exploit an Apache struts vulnerability.
Right. The recent one from this year.
Right, the recent one.
It's probably like within past 5 months or something, right?
Right,
Can't
right.
remember.
It was very, very recent. It was the OGNL vulnerability, where you can craft a OGNL string, essentially, put that as the path, and there you go. And so that was it's been observed in the wild already. So this is just a little twist on that, in that it's coming from a legitimate Googlebot as opposed from a normal attacker.
Right.
Yeah, that puts I guess the people that are trying to protect websites in a weird place, because now you can't filter it. Like the blacklisting of an IP becomes
can't do that.
Pointless at that point.
Right.
Right. They're all legit.
Right.
Right.
And you're probably going to not want to blacklist the Google service, right? Most people aren't going to do that.
It hurts you, right? It might throw you down the search ranking because you're not letting them search your page.
Right. So it sounded like there is a particular attacker that this is being leveraged in the wild, mostly for delivery of a cryptocurrency miner of some sort, I think it was. I don't remember which one.
Yeah.
But
Chronix.
Chronix,
I think is what it is, or Chronix. I don't know, however you pronounce it. But it's been observed to push that malware onto different sites.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I guess the thing that comes to my mind is, why bother?
Right. We had some questions as to why an attacker would even do that. It seems like it'd be more effective to proxy your own malicious traffic rather than let Googlebot pick it up at some undetermined point in time.
I guess maybe there might be people out there who block a lot more,
right.
But particularly if traffic's coming from bad areas, and maybe that's the only place that you could really launch your exploit from. But I don't know. I find that suspect.
It could be to bypass like geolocation filters, because I know some people block whole countries, right?
Right.
True.
So it could be that. I mean, I was interested to see if they had any way to figure out like who benefits after, right? Like, I guess there's no way to know really, but like how does the attack? I guess because they're crypto mining, can you like kind of follow maybe where the money is, right? To see if there's other, if that's being used somewhere else, maybe.
Right. Potentially. I don't know enough about this
Right.
cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I'm
you
not
know, with
sure.
Bitcoin and some of these other ones, you can look at the ledger and maybe there's a similar thing.
Right.
But it's interesting. I just
Yeah.
don't understand why I wouldn't just do it myself, as opposed to farming the malicious links out to Googlebot to do it for me.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that you're able to kind of, you know, as a bad actor, leverage somebody else
Right.
to do the exploitation for you, because, you know, it's just, that's what it's designed to do.
It's not necessarily something that is wrong with the service, because the service is doing exactly what it was intended to do, but this sort of behavior has actually been observed since 2001. So it's been known for a while. I think the reason why we don't see it all that often in the wild is because of the limitations placed on that particular type of request.